France 3, Sweden nothing, a statement performance at the World Cup, and welcome to FairPlay, Football AI Review. This was a round of 32 clash at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, played under the lights of the New York-New Jersey Stadium in front of 80,663 fans. France, already confirmed group winners, needed to extend their momentum into the knockout rounds. Sweden, arriving as a team with something to prove, needed a miracle, and instead found a French machine in full flow. The stakes for Sweden were existential. Graham Potter's side came in having drawn with Japan and suffered a 5-1 thrashing by the Netherlands in earlier stages of the competition. France, meanwhile, had gone 9 points from 9 in their group, beating Norway, Iraq, and Senegal with a combined score of 10-2. One team had everything to play for, the other had everything already working in their favor. France were without significant injury concerns, and Didier Deschamps named a full-strength side, a clear signal of intent. Sweden, however, carried the psychological weight of that Netherlands hammering and a form line that showed 3 losses in their last 5 competitive outings. The pressure was entirely on Potter to produce something unexpected in New Jersey, and the heat, 31 degrees with heavy humidity, was unlikely to suit a physically demanding Swedish game plan. Deschamps set France up in his trusted 4-2-3-1. William Saliba and Dayot Upamecano anchored the center of defense, Rabiot and Tchouaméni held the double pivot, and the attacking trio of Dembélé, Olise, and Barcola sat behind the solitary striker, Kylian Mbappé. The design was clear. Overload wide areas, use the technical quality in the attacking midfield band to disorganize Sweden's shape, and feed Mbappé in the spaces behind. Sweden came out in a 4-4-2 under Graham Potter, with Isak and Gyökeres as the twin strikers supported by Elanga and the midfield engine of Bergvall and Ayari. Potter's intention appeared to be defensive compactness, staying narrow to limit France's central playmaking lanes while hoping that Isak and Gyökeres could capitalize on any transition opportunity. It was an ambitious premise against the pace and intelligence of the French backline. The tactical mismatch was stark. France's 4-2-3-1 created numerical superiority in the central zones through Rabiot and Tchouaméni, while Olise, operating as an advanced midfielder, caused Sweden's flat 4-4-2 to constantly make difficult decisions, whether to track him into dangerous half spaces or hold their line and risk him turning with time. Sweden's wingers in the 4-4-2 were asked to press and recover, but the heat and France's quick ball circulation meant they were perpetually chasing shadows. France controlled the opening exchanges with a confidence bordering on inevitability. They moved the ball with crisp, purposeful intent, Tchouaméni and Rabiot recycling possession efficiently in the double pivot, while the wide trio rotated to create uncertainty in Sweden's defensive shape. Sweden's best chance of disrupting the rhythm was a midfield press that rarely materialized with sufficient cohesion. Jakob Widell Zetterström, between the sticks for the Swedes, would be tested regularly before long. The drama of the first half actually began early, when Mbappé thought he had opened the scoring around the 20th minute, only to have the goal rightly disallowed for offside. It was a moment that showed Sweden's vulnerability at the back, even if they temporarily escaped. France's attacking movement was too sharp, and it was only a matter of time before they found the breakthrough within the laws of the game. That breakthrough arrived right on the stroke of half-time, and it was precisely the moment France deserved. Olise played a short corner to Dembélé, who slipped the ball crisply into Mbappé's path inside the area. Mbappé did the rest with a precise right-foot finish to make it 1-0. The timing was brutal for Sweden. Conceding at 45 minutes rather than regrouping at halftime means the psychology of the interval shifts entirely. France came out for the second half not looking to preserve their lead but to extend it, and they did so within 8 minutes of the restart. Tchouaméni won the ball in his characteristically composed fashion in midfield, drove forward, and found Olise. The Bayern Munich playmaker spotted Barcola's diagonal run in behind Sweden's defensive line immediately, and Barcola did not hesitate, smashing the ball into the bottom corner from around the penalty spot. 2-0, and the game was already over as a contest. Michael Olise had earlier in the match hit the woodwork, one of France's 2 strikes against the post or bar, which illustrated just how relentlessly France were attacking. In that same vein, Mbappé also struck the woodwork before eventually finding the net twice. Both players were operating at a level far beyond what Sweden's defensive block could contain. Sweden made their first double substitution in the 66th minute, replacing Lucas Bergvall and Elliot Stroud with Besfort Zanelli and Taha Ali. It was Potter attempting to inject fresh legs and sharpen the pressing structure in central midfield. But the fundamental problem remained. France's quality in possession and movement was simply too great for any midfield shuffling to meaningfully address. The third goal arrived in the 74th minute, and it was the one that carried genuine historical weight. Olise again was the architect, threading an extraordinary pass through the narrowest of corridors to release Mbappé, who swept the ball into the far corner with a cool right-foot finish. That goal was Mbappé's 18th of his World Cup career, and his 6th of this tournament alone, drawing him level at the top of the scoring charts with Lionel Messi. Deschamps made 5 changes in the final 15 minutes. Doué and Gusto came on at 75 for Dembélé and Koundé, providing rotation and fresh width. 3 minutes later, Theo Hernandez replaced Lucas Digne at left back. Then at 85 minutes, both Olise and Mbappé were withdrawn to a standing ovation from the crowd, replaced by Cherki and Mateta. The match was safe, and Deschamps was managing his squad for the knockout rounds ahead. Sweden's closing substitutions of Nygren and Svanberg at 82 minutes and Nielsen for Isak at 89 were gestures more than solutions. The game was done. Alexander Isak, who had threatened intermittently, hitting the woodwork once, was withdrawn in the final minute, a symbol of how little the Swedes could do with their isolated moments of quality. The decisive moment of this match was unquestionably Mbappé's first goal, timed to devastating effect at the stroke of half-time. When that goal went in, Sweden had shown nothing to suggest they could recover from a deficit, and the interval allowed France to consolidate rather than give Sweden any lifeline. Possession told its own clear story. France controlled 61% of the ball, completing 484 accurate passes at an 88% pass accuracy rate. Sweden, on the other hand, managed just 278 accurate passes at 79%. The ball circulation numbers reflected a team playing football at a level of control that left their opponents chasing and conserving energy simultaneously. The attacking numbers were equally emphatic. France registered 25 shots in total, 25 darts, including 12 on target, with 2 further strikes rattling the frame of the goal. Their expected goals figure of 2.61 was a fair representation of genuine, high-quality chances created. Sweden, in contrast, managed 8 shots, 3 on target, and an XG of just 0.69. Isak's moments of quality, including 3 shots on target, gave those numbers a marginally respectable appearance, but the clinical reality was clear. Defensively, William Saliba was imperious alongside Upamecano. Sweden's strike partnership of Isak and Gyökeres, who have been among the most feared attacking combinations in European club football, were largely nullified. Mike Maignan made just 3 saves, a comfortable evening for an elite goalkeeper. At the other end, Zetterstrom made 11 saves to prevent an even more embarrassing scoreline, which is a remarkable statistic that illustrates how one-sided this contest genuinely was. On the French side, Michael Olise was the standout performer across the 90 minutes. He registered 2 assists, attempted 6 shots, put 3 on target, and was involved in the build-up to each of France's 3 goals. His 71 passes completed, combination with Tchouaméni, and the quality of his threading pass for the 3rd goal were what separated the truly elite from the merely excellent. It was a display that confirmed his status as one of the best playmakers in world football right now. For Sweden, Anthony Elanga was their one genuine source of danger and creativity. He completed 2 shots on target from his wing position, showing the energy and directness that his team needed more of. Victor Gyökeres earned a yellow card for his physical battles, but contributed an assist while working hard across the front line, though he could not replicate the form that has made him so devastating for Sporting in club football. If there was one player whose performance fell below expectations on the day, it was Lucas Bergvall. The young Swedish midfielder was tasked with controlling the center of the pitch against France's double pivot, an enormous ask, and he struggled to impose himself before being substituted off at 66 minutes. He committed 5 fouls in that time, reflecting his difficulty in winning the ball legitimately against France's composure in possession. Deschamps got everything right, tactically. The 4-2-3-1 protected the team's width without sacrificing central control, and the decision to start both Olise and Barcola alongside Dembélé behind Mbappé created a genuinely three-dimensional attacking threat. Potter's 4-4-2 was defensively logical in theory, but in practice, Olise's free movement between the lines dismantled the shape repeatedly. The Swedish manager had no answer. Historically, France hold the dominant position in this rivalry. Of the 3 recorded meetings, France have won 2 and Sweden 1. That solitary Swedish victory coming in 2017. This 3-0 victory is the most comprehensive of the 3 fixtures, adding to a head-to-head record that now firmly tilts toward France's historical superiority. Psychologically, for Sweden, this is a hard series of results to carry forward into any rebuilding phase. France arrive at this knockout stage in the form of their careers as a collective. 9 points from 9 in the group stage, 10 goals scored, only 2 conceded, and now into the round of 16 having barely needed to leave second gear. The squad depth is remarkable. The 5 substitutions Deschamps made in the closing stages included Kanté, Thuram, and Zaire Emery, none of whom played a minute here. Sweden's recent run tells a different story entirely. Before this tournament, they suffered losses to Switzerland, Kosovo, and Switzerland again, a troubling sequence softened slightly by wins over Tunisia and Poland, and a draw with Japan. The 5-1 battering by the Netherlands, and now this 3-0 elimination, paint a picture of a team that is on the ascent in certain moments, but nowhere near the level required to compete at the sharp end of a World Cup. France travel to face Paraguay next, on the 4th of July. Paraguay are a physical, well-organized South American side who will present a very different type of challenge to what France have faced so far, deeper, more compact, and capable of playing on the counter. But on this evidence, with Olise pulling strings, Mbappé finishing with clinical precision, and Deschamps rotating his squad intelligently, France look like genuine favorites to go deep in this tournament. My prediction is direct. France qualify for the quarterfinals without serious difficulty. Mbappé's current form makes him almost unstoppable, and the depth of Deschamps' squad means no single result will derail their campaign. Sweden, meanwhile, go home as a team with genuine talented players, but without the tactical sophistication or squad maturity to compete at World Cup level in a knockout format against elite opposition. France 3, Sweden 0, a performance that was controlled, clinical, and at times breathtaking. This was not a team grinding out a result. It was a team asserting exactly where they stand in world football. The name on the scoresheet twice was Mbappé, but the name that defined this night was Olise, the conductor of an orchestra that played in perfect harmony. On FairPlay, we will be tracking France's every step toward what increasingly looks like a deep tournament run. Their next assignment is Paraguay, and if Deschamps and his squad bring the same intensity and movement they showed in New Jersey, this World Cup is very much theirs to win. That's the FairPlay verdict on this one. If you want more analysis like this, follow us. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at FairPlay AI, and follow Anthony personally on X at Anthony Fairplay. See you next match.